Okay, so it is Tuesday the 24th of June. I am like 10 days out. Also, we've had the lights replaced in here and I can see that it's like glaring down, so apologies for that. I didn't vlog last week, like at all, and I still haven't actually put together the video from the week before, which was my last heavy lift, which by the time this comes out, I will have put that video together. But I, full transparency, have been in such a rut, and I'm kind of coming out of it, I think, but I don't really know how to describe it. But yeah, like life is good. I've just been in a massive rut and I just haven't wanted to pick up the camera, so I just kind of given myself a bit of grace and just kind of focusing on my prep entirely and not worrying too much about that. But we're in a really good place. Like, I don't want to jinx it. So I'm now going into week 2 of 3, because it's a 3-week block into comp, week 3 being the week of comp. So this week, kind of heavy, but not anything crazy. Last week was like heavy for a week 1, but still light enough to obviously allow recovery and stuff. But I'm definitely feeling my body really adapting to these heavier loads and like getting peaked and ready to lift heavier comp. So I'm feeling pretty good. It's Tuesday, so tonight is my secondary squats, secondary bench and primary deadlift, so my conventional day. And last week's conventional deadlifts, guys, I started the block with a 170 pull at like RP 6 at most. Like, it was comfortable. The range for the day was 165 to 170. I did my last one with 155 and I was like, this feels incredible. Like, something clicked last week on deadlifts, and if you've watched my videos, you know that deadlifts and I have not been friends for a long time now. And like, it's coming up to, I think it is literally it was 2 years ago at All England that I was like felt strong enough to potentially pull 200 in my prep. I ended up pulling 190 at comp and I've not pulled 190 since that. It's been 2 years of being in a bit of a rut with deadlifts and they feel good. Like I still got tonight to go, but last week they felt really good. And the 170 I pulled last week, like 170 on a week 1 for me, even though it's like obviously a slightly heavier week 1 because it is only a 3-week block, but that's big, like really made me feel good. Squats are feeling decent, still kind of misgrooving more than I'd like to be in my heels, but I'm still glad I switched to heels, so I just think they feel a lot more consistent, well not consistent, but controlled, and I feel better and more confident in them that I'm hitting depth than I ever did in flats. And bench, to be fair, bench is just kind of bench. I don't really have too much to say on bench. It's kind of just happening. My positioning doesn't necessarily feel perfect right now, but it feels okay. The only thing I've been struggling with is butt lift, which I can't really film in here very well because the garage is pretty narrow and with how I've placed the rack and stuff. But I think I'll be fine on comp day, because I think the thing is my lower back's been feeling a little bit, not too aggy, but it's kind of just as bad as it sometimes can be. And if I tuck too much on bench and really force my butt to stay down, which obviously I would do in a competition setting, but if I do that in training for too many sets and for too long at a time, I do notice it makes my lower back feel more aggravated. So I'm just kind of benching in a more comfortable position for me right now. So I'm not too worried about that on comp day, but basically I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling good. My confidence is kind of going up. I think with where I've been feeling in a bit of a rut, like I've been feeling very lonely in this prep, I guess. Like, going into the last comp, I felt like I had so much support around me. And obviously I train alone at home, I coach myself. Like, there's only so much of a community you can kind of have, and most of my community does come from being online. I am trying to, obviously I still use social media, and social media for me is like a massive thing when it comes to business as well. Like, most of my clients, well, pretty much all of my clients at this point either come through word of mouth or social media. And I need to be on there and active, but also like, it's feeling very overwhelming on social media right now, and I know I'm not alone with thinking that, and just with like everything going on in the world. So I've been trying to like use it a little bit less, but obviously still use it. And like, I like to scroll reels to kind of de-stress and stuff in the evening sometimes, but then sometimes it makes me more stressed. But yeah, like I've just generally been feeling quite like lonely, which I don't really like saying out loud because it just feels like I'm very good at being on my own. But just in terms of like general support and stuff throughout this prep, don't feel like I've had as much, which could just be me, but that's just, I want to be honest about how I'm feeling. But also like, I'm still feeling fine. I'm feeling really confident about this prep actually. Like, I'm feeling really good. And I also am very much like, it doesn't really matter what happens at the English because British is the goal of the year, and I'm still not going to be satisfied with my total at British. Obviously I'm going to enjoy where I'm at and just enjoy the process like I always do, but I'm also thinking to myself, well, next year is kind of like when you want to be at like the level you're aiming for. So it's, you know, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint with powerlifting, and I fully believe that. But yeah, like, I'm in a good spot. My left hip has been a bit aggy, so actually on sumo on Saturday on my week 1, I cut my sumo, so I'm only doing ascending triples this block rather than ascending fours like I was doing. And I actually didn't do my final set because my left hip just felt yeah, it just didn't feel good basically. So I'm just gonna be a little bit careful, potentially just keep sumo in as a little bit of like an extra secondary day practice kind of day. But I mean, I'm literally like 10 days out, like I've got one more Saturday session and then it's comp week. So just being a bit mindful of my hip basically is what I want to say. But it's feeling a bit better the last couple of days, and also last week, which does not help. Sleep was like terrible. It's been really sunny here, like I've had a heat wave and stuff, which Zuko, obviously, he's a husky, he doesn't do great in the heat. Like he's okay. We have to walk him early enough that it's not obviously boiling hot, sunny or anything. And then we walk him again pretty late at night. I say late at night, like 9, half 9 for his longer walk when it's a bit cooler in the air. And so because of that, like we're not going to bed until like 11 p.m, but he's also waking us up in the morning, or last week he was waking us up in the morning at like 5. And normally we'll walk him, like, especially with it being hot, like between 6 and half 6, we'll get up and walk him. Usually leave here at half 6, but because he'd been waking up so early, I was literally getting like 5, maybe 6 hours sleep a night at the absolute most. And yeah, it was just not good. And obviously with the heat anyway, like I wasn't sleeping as well. So last week I definitely felt like my recovery was down, and I was definitely noticing it. Like I think that's why my hip was so painful last week, because the last couple of nights Zuko has actually like my alarm's gone off before he's woken up, which has been really good. And I managed to get like 7 hours the last couple of nights, which still isn't as much as I would like to be getting, but it's better than what I was getting. So it is what it is. But yeah, that had an impact last week. And then I think the only other thing to update you guys on is body weight. So the plan for this comp was to have a bit of an easier time with it, have a bit of an easier cut down to a lighter weight. Basically powering through, which is the comp I just did, we got me down to about 85.6, 85.7, I think I was like 85.8 maybe, a week out, and then we manipulated from there. And I woke up and my gut cut essentially wasn't as effective as it should have been, and I woke up at like 84.6 on the morning of comp, which was fine, like I just hot bathed and spat, whatever. But we basically agreed, because it was a short turnaround, would do a cut from a lighter body weight. So the plan was to get me down to like 85, 85.2-ish and just manipulate from there. And because I've got a 12 p.m. weigh-in, it would have just been like a really easy breezy kind of comp. But because of the heat, my body weight has just spiked back up again. I do think it is starting to come back down again now. But literally like the week after comp was a bit of like a free week. I was still kind of tracking, but not super strict. The week after, Jane had put my food up a little bit, just so that I didn't feel like I was in a constant deficit. And then the week after, we got back to my deficit, and literally the first 2 weeks of that, or the first week of that, I think the first 2 weeks of that, my weight was just plummeting. Like I was down to like 85.7, and she was still putting my food up, and I was still just dropping really quickly. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna be on so much food going into comp. And then literally like the last week, when we had the heat wave, my body weight just shot up like mid to high 86s, like 86.5. I think the highest I saw was 86.9, and I've been on it with my macros as well. So that was annoying, and I don't want to say stressful because this car's going past. It's not stressful, it's just frustrating. But today I was at 86 on the dot, so I'm hoping now, like over the next few days, it's a little bit cooler here. Like it's still warm, it's like 25-ish, but it's not as hot as it was. And I'm getting a bit more sleep this week as well, hopefully, if Zuko continues. So I'm hoping this means that my body weight now starts to drop off, because we're starting the manipulation from Monday, I believe. I've got a call with Jane Sunday to plan it, but I compete on the Saturday, weigh in at 12. So I'm actually in the headspace, and obviously I'll speak to Jane about this on Sunday. I'd rather not manipulate water the week of comp. I would actually rather do my gut cut, and then on the day of comp, hot bath if I have to. But obviously hopefully I won't have to. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But I think that's all the updates. I'm gonna crack on now because it is 7:45, and I don't really want to be training this late, but it's just kind of how the days fell. And yeah, I'm just gonna get everything done. It's not too long of a session because it's my last deadlift day. I've literally got my top single, back off triple, and then nothing else on deadlifts and squats. They're not too heavy. They shouldn't take me too long. Same with bench. So.
We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart, 'cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it
firstly, oh, that glare is there again. Firstly, I am a mess. It's very muggy here and squats. So they were easy, they were comfortable. My neck went on my last warm-up though, so if you've followed these for a while, you know I have issues with my neck. I have had it confirmed from an MRI that like I've actually got 2 discs that are not in how they should be. Anyway, not going to go into loads of detail. Basically, the last week or 2, my neck started to feel a little bit more stiff than normal, which it never feels great, but it's definitely been a little bit worse the last couple of weeks. And I actually said to my boyfriend, I think it was after one of my bench days last week, I was like, I'm kind of expecting something to happen and it to kind of, I say, go and get worse again and have a big flare up, but I'm just praying it holds out until after comp. And of course it didn't hold out until after comp. On my last warm up, as I turned my head to check it was in the rack, I just felt a twinge and the pain has just been radiating ever since, which is kind of what often happens. And now I'm just in a lot of pain. But I don't want to take any painkillers because I don't want to feel groggy for my session. It's like my last deadlift session, like I want it to go well. And basically I just kind of sucked it up for squats. I did my top single, which wasn't paused as long as I wanted it to be, but it was okay, like it still moved fine. And you know, that was literally just after I felt my neck twinge and as the pain was kind of starting to radiate. So I can't expect it to be perfect, but considering the circumstances, it was fine. Back off 6s at 145 were easy, but I was obviously just distracted. And my first set, this one I filmed, I was out here on my own and I missed the re-rack because I couldn't check that it was in and I thought I felt it go in and it didn't. So I had to get my boyfriend to come out and guide me in for my next 2 sets. So that was fun. So I'm now going to try and bench. I say try and bench. I'm going to get bench done. It's just going to suck basically. And the thing is when I have these flare-ups that there's not really a lot I can do apart from just painkillers and yeah, basically just painkillers, Voltarol, whatever I can put on it. So that's kind of the plan. I have been meaning to get booked in to get this actually properly looked at, to be fair. I'm going to actually go down the route of like NHS GP surgery to start with and see what they say, because they've got quite a good physio at our surgery now, and just kind of see what they suggest. And then if I don't get anywhere, I will speak to someone that is more specialised, that understands obviously how I train as well, but obviously then that's more money that I have to then spend, which I don't really want to be spending. But it's fine, yeah, like I need to get this, I can't keep going on like this. Like the last time it flared up, it was literally like I couldn't move. Like I was basically in tears constantly for like 48 hours because it was so painful. And I don't want to go through that again. Like don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel quite as intense as it did that time, but it's still not good. And yeah, I shouldn't have to be like this, so yeah. But the only positive is that it doesn't usually last more than a week, which means it should be gone in time for comp, hopefully. But yeah, it's like really annoying because like movement doesn't help, so it's like I'm actually trying not to really move it just because it hurts so much when I move it. But yeah, it's fine, we'll survive. Anyway, I'm just gonna crack on. I'm gonna get the rest of my session done. Bench is fairly light, not too heavy, and then obviously you've got deadlift after, but we're gonna be fine. Just gonna power through a bit. I thought I'd just update you guys that obviously yeah, this has happened, so that's annoying.
It's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
Okay, so my camera died during Tuesday's session. It's now Thursday, it is 7 PM, which is later than I wanted to train today, but it's all good. Tuesday didn't end well. I filmed everything on my phone. Bench was fine, nothing to really report. I can't remember if I filmed bench on this camera or not. If I didn't, I'm not gonna bother putting it in because it just moved fine. Obviously my neck was really painful, so when I say it moved fine, it moved as well as it could. I benched in just my sports bra so that I didn't have to worry quite as much about neck pressure, because when my neck's really bad, I literally cannot put my neck into the pad, especially because it's quite a hard bench pad. It's just agonising putting my bench into the pad, which is so typical that obviously my neck flared up on the day I have the most sets of bench. But I made do, got it done. It wasn't the best execution. My pauses weren't quite as strict. That they're supposed to be a 2 count. But they were okay, like it was fine. The weight still felt really easy and comfortable. My positioning just wasn't perfect, but I still wanted to get it done. And it didn't feel like an overshoot. It was literally just uncomfortable. But my neck, quick update on that, it's definitely not as bad as I expected it to be. It's still painful, don't get me wrong. And I'm having to be really careful, but it's okay, and I'm pretty sure by comp it will be back to like its normal level of okay. I've also booked a physio appointment with my GP surgery Wednesday, roughly, a couple weeks away. I can't remember when. That's not really relevant, but yeah, I've actually booked to get it looked at though, or like seen and start rehabbing it and just doing what I can to help it, because I literally cannot keep going through this because it's just agonising, and like painkillers don't really help. Although I will say my painkillers have been helping me actually get good quality sleep though, because they fully knock me out. I only take them at bedtime though. It's bedtime, that's like a child. I only take them before bed. Just because I don't want to feel really groggy and out of it during the day. So during the day, I'm kind of just sucking up the pain. Anything weaker doesn't really touch it anyway, so just kind of dealing with it like that, but it's all good, it's all fine. Yeah, so my neck was terrible for that session, but it's still bad, but it's kind of not awful. Like I'm surviving, I'm still living normally, it's just I have to be a bit careful. But anyway, back to Tuesday's session. So deadlifts. Week 1 deadlifts felt so unbelievably good, and I felt so confident that deadlifts were finally coming back. I was getting back to that 190 range, and then Tuesday happened.
It's alright. It's alright, so let's move on. 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 It's alright, so let's move on.
During the moment, there was no rationalising it in my head. Like, I had a full-on meltdown, which I'll obviously talk you through in a sec. But I was warming up, and with my neck, with deadlifts, it's actually the least impacted because I'm not moving my head around when I deadlift, obviously. Like, yeah, I'm leaning over and actually loading the plates and stuff on the bar is a bit of an issue, but once I'm in position, ready to go, it's okay. Like, I don't really notice it as much on deadlifts as I do the other two. Anyway, warming up, 165 last warm up, so that I could go to either 175 or 180 ideally, providing things felt good. 165 felt like fantastic, like really good. Like it didn't feel quite as snappy as the week before, but it felt good, it felt strong, and my deadlifts typically don't feel snappy, so I was confident. As soon as I dropped that bar, I was like, right, 180, let's load it. I loaded 180, I gave myself 4.5 minutes rest before I got my belt and stuff back on, because I'm in a long flight, so I'm preparing for that. And one of my biggest mistakes when it comes to deadlifting is not giving myself the rest that I need, and it just didn't go. Well, I said didn't go. I got it to like my knees, and it moved pretty quickly, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know if it was my grip going or what it was, but it just wasn't there. But the bar didn't feel that heavy, and normally if I fail, I will just kind of shrug it off, and I'm quite good at that, and obviously I don't fail often either. But yeah, I just had a meltdown, and then I had like 6 minutes rest, tried it again, which was silly of me, didn't move. Like, I should have just done my back down set and left it, but my ego wouldn't let me. And then I full on just cried, had a full on meltdown, and I texted my boyfriend and I was like, can you come load 175 for me? Just take 5 kilos off just so I can do a deadlift single at a somewhat decent load. But if I kept loading the bar, my neck was just gonna irritate me more and more. And so we did. And him and Zuko sat and watched me pull. And I barely broke the floor. And I just cried for a very long time. I didn't do my back offset, and I literally just went indoors and just like literally had the worst night. Like, I was really being hard on myself, and the reason I'm being hard on myself with it, and literally what I said to my boyfriend was like, I almost feel at a loss here, because I was kind of saying I don't know what more I can do for my deadlift, because it didn't feel bad, and mentally I felt like I could get it. I had a couple of like intrusive thoughts being like, you can't do this, you're gonna fail, but I really felt like I'd ignored them, and I just went in confident. It just wasn't there, and I couldn't work out why. And my deadlift is a bit of a mystery, but I did also say a few videos ago when I was breaking down the changes I was making, I did say my deadlift historically was at its best when I hit 190 for the first time, was when I was doing very, very minimal volume. I was doing, I think I'd literally did a block of like triples, like cluster triples as well, so not too heavy, but cluster triples, cluster doubles, and then I think I did a block or two of cluster singles, and then I hit that 190. And it was when my back was recovering from injury and I wasn't able to push volume, I stripped my volume right back, and actually my intensity ended up being pretty high, and my volume was just so low. And I haven't really ran that style since, because since I've been healthy enough, I've kind of been in the mindset of, okay, let's just, slowly push these. And every now and then I'll have a block where they feel good, but just not consistently. And it was just so overwhelming on Tuesday. Like, it was really bad. I just kind of gave myself some time to feel sad. And I actually gave myself the Wednesday to also feel quite sad as well. But I know post-comp, I'm just going to trial the minimum volume and just see, or minimal volume, and see how that goes. I've got nothing to lose. I still think sumo could be a really good option for me as well, as long as my hip can withstand it. But then that's something where if it does continue to be an issue with my hip, I will need to see someone about it. So there's options there as well. But yeah, basically, Deadlift and I aren't friends. And I am going to talk about this on here. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this on the video or not. I actually did reach out to a coach as well. Now, they don't have space at the moment. They've literally just onboarded new people and they are incredibly busy. So I'm not going to them right now. But I also really thought about it after, and I was like, there is no one else that I trust more than them or myself, at least at this point. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna keep trial and erroring with my own training. I've got people I can reach out for. I can do maybe like mentorship calls with people if I really do feel like I'm at a loss. But I think a big part of me feeling at a loss is just because I'm in a mental rut in my like everyday life right now as well, which I haven't spoken about really too much on here. But like mentally, I'm not in the best of places right now, if I'm being totally honest. And there's not even necessarily a reason for it. Like, it's just how I'm feeling. So I'm just gonna try and keep a positive attitude. Like, I'm feeling a bit more positive about tonight's session. And I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm just gonna keep working, because my total will go up even if my deadlift doesn't, and that's what I need to remind myself. But I am like, as soon as comp is done, deadlift is the focus. I know what works for my squat. I know what works for my bench. They aren't the issue right now. I need to just keep kind of going with those. And I need to figure out what's going on with my deadlift. And that is the goal post-comp, to really refine that and sort that out. I'm not going to lie, I don't particularly want to do this comp. I want to get on top of whatever these issues are that I'm having now. I am someone that likes to action now, and I don't like to wait. But I also know that I need to do this comp purely just to do a comp and to have some fun and to get out of my own head. And I've put all this work in, so I might as well still do it. It doesn't matter where I place. Like, naturally I want to win. But also, if my deadlift isn't there, I'm not going to win. Like, I'm probably going to come third if my deadlift isn't there. Not to say my deadlift won't be there. You never know on the day. Like, my deadlift's proven. And some days it feels great, some days it feels terrible. You can never really predict it. But part of me doesn't even want to compete, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm going to. And then I've got, I think it's 22 weeks between this comp and British. So I've got time. And full transparency, if it gets closer to British and I feel like my total isn't where I need it to be, I might just have a super long off season, do a meet middle of next year, qualify for British then, and then really show out at the end of the year next year. I don't know. I need to think about long-term goals, not short-term. And I've said this many times to clients, and I'm sure in videos as well. Powerlifting is a long game, and you can't just get better immediately overnight. Like, I'm ticking the boxes, I'm showing up, I'm pushing what I need to push, and I just need to have faith in that. So that was a lot of ramble. I need to get this session done because I don't really want a really late night tonight, because I was really trying to keep my eyes open. Also, I put my Troy Bolton t-shirt on to put me in a good mood, because I'm going to listen to High School Musical and have a fun training session, which I think will also help.
It's alright, so let's move on. We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart, 'cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright.
was going to be deadlifting again today. Usually I would not obviously adjust, like if I failed my last deadlifts like I did on Tuesday, typically I would have left it and just let my body recover for comp day. However, I was in a terrible mood Tuesday. Like, I don't say terrible mood, I just had a really stressful day, I had a really long day, and mentally I was just so checked out anyway, like I just didn't feel good. And although squats and bench were okay, obviously my neck flaring up added to it all, and I was just exhausted. And my mindset wasn't right for deadlifts, and I know that deadlifts are the lift that need me to be in the most positive mindset. And about an hour before I trained today, I said to my boyfriend, I was like, I think I might try deadlifting again today, because it's just such light squats and bench anyway. I'll maybe just take it a little bit slower, warm up and see how we go. And they went really well. I did kind of my normal jumps. I didn't really know what I was aiming for today. Originally the plan for Tuesday was 175 to 180 in that range, and I was like, well, to be honest, even if I did pull 170 today, like that's a big win. And I'm not going to do my back off triple that I was originally going to do, just because obviously the extra fatigue from the other day, like I don't want to be silly this close to comp, and my deadlift responds well to a big taper, so I was like, I'll just do my top single and go from there. And I was like, to be honest, anywhere from like 170 upwards I'll be happy with. And I thought to myself, I don't think I want to load 180, just because I think that'll be a little bit of a mental block there today. So I did 70, 120, 145, 160, and I was like, right, let's just do 10 kilo jump, 160 to 170. And the 170 was considerably slower than the 160, but it still felt really comfortable. So I loaded 175 originally, and then I just had this moment where I was like, just do 177, just take a 7.5 jump. And I literally shouted yes at the top of the rep. Like, I was so happy. And it didn't, like, it was slow, but my deadlifts are slow. My top end lifts are slow. Like, I'm a grindy lifter, like that's normal for me. I'm just so scared to do it on deadlifts. And I can't believe I got it. Like, I'm so happy. I genuinely like couldn't, like that's really boosted my confidence. Like I needed that. And I'm literally gonna go do my accessories in a sec and then just prioritize rest. Obviously, Saturday session shouldn't be impacted by my deadlifting today, because I literally just did a top single, and generally like Saturday's not too heavy anyway, like it's a week out, it's not crazy heavy. So yeah, basically guys, I'm so glad, one, that paid off, and two, that moved how it did. Like that was exactly what I needed. Like I'm not aiming for a PB on deadlifts at comp, and to be honest, after Tuesday I thought to myself, I'm probably gonna have to open at like 150, which I'm now kind of thinking maybe I don't have to do that. Don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to open lighter than I have been previously. I don't really know, or I'm probably going to take smaller jumps on deadlift, to be honest. So we're just going to see, but I don't need to decide that right now, and I can amend that on the day, depending on how I feel. But I just wanted to say, like, that was exactly what I needed. Very, very happy with that. And yeah, it's put me in a good mood. And like, I'm really, where I've been in a rut, like I'm very self-aware. And I'm very aware that the only person that's going to get me out of this rut is myself. And that's what I'm really trying to do, but it's obviously just quite hard, especially like I've been so exhausted. Like today at my desk this morning, I was literally falling asleep for like the first few hours of the day. But the goal now between now and comp is obviously prioritise rest, prioritise recovery, execute everything. Like even my squats today, I was so conscious of just executing as if it was max effort, and everything felt really good. So we're in a positive mindset now. I needed that mental boost, even just for like my everyday life. Like that session Tuesday made me feel worse in everything else as well, which isn't good, and it's not normal for me to be like that, but it really did. And I think because I was already low, it was just like cherry on top. So anyway, Troy Bolton t-shirt came through. Okay, so it's Saturday morning. It is 10:10. Zuko is currently in the gym with me. I'm not gonna let him stay in here while I train. I don't know if you can see this. He's laying in front of the squat rack. I literally said to him, if you lay down, you can hang out in here. And he literally laid in the middle of the squat rack, or the combo rack. So that's obviously not gonna work. But I wouldn't trust him out here anyway, because he's just rogue. Anyway, it is my heaviest session before comp, I guess. I mean, Tuesday is still relatively heavy, so it's not, I don't really think of it as like my last heavy week or anything like that when I'm a week out, because it's not like I'm pacing for next week. Like I don't do a particularly large taper or anything. Like the only thing I really taper is my accessories. So I'm kind of just still building momentum into comp. So it's nothing crazy heavy today. I mean, it's still heavy enough. I am home alone though, so if anything goes wrong, no one is here to save me. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I had a good night's sleep last night. My boyfriend got up with Zuko this morning because he's out tonight, so I'm going to get up with Zuko tomorrow morning, which meant I got a good night's sleep last night. I think I got like about 8 hours, maybe just under, but to be honest, I can't lay in because I'm so used to getting up early. So yeah, I got a decent night's sleep. Body weight finally dropped. We've been waiting for this drop. Like a few weeks ago, like when I was first like tracking again after comp, like I tracked the week after comp, like when I was like set proper macros from Jane and stuff, my body weight was just kind of plummeting down. But with the heat here, it's been just sitting like quite a bit heavier. Like I've been sitting like mid 86s to low 86s, and the goal was to kind of be like 85.2 for the cut. And I woke up this morning at 85.2. I've got a call with Jane tomorrow morning to talk through the plan of the cut, just because I want to give a little bit more input this time. I'm hoping basically we don't have to do much of a water load, because I think when we cut water a day out last time is why I felt pretty rough on comp day, where I would actually rather hot bath and sweat on the day of rather than dehydrate before. But I'm going to speak to her about that tomorrow. But because my body weight has dropped so much, like 85.2 is light for me. We should be able to just do a gut cut, I think, and make it pretty comfortably. So that's very good news. Yeah, I'm feeling alright. I haven't gone for a walk this morning is the only thing that I'm kind of conscious of. So like my lower back's a little bit tight still. So that is probably the only thing. I mean, I could go for a walk, but I'm not going to do that. It's also boiling here, so that's not going to be fun. But I've made sure to have quite a lot of drink. I've had my carbs, and yeah, just going to get on, get it done. Nothing else to really report.
It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, so let's move on. 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 It's alright, so let's move on.
Okay, so squats are done. I'm a sweaty mess. I'm kind of happy with how they went. So they weren't amazing. One thing I did notice is my elbows and my shoulders aren't feeling anywhere near as bad as they have been. Like neither is so much warmer here. My joints are definitely feeling better. I mean, they're still a little bit tender, but nothing like they had been. I tempoed my single, and I don't know why I did it. I think it was a nerves thing. Also, I did let Zuko stay in the gym for all of my squats. He's literally in it now. You can probably hear him chewing his treat in the background. He's been so good. He's literally just been laying in front of the rack the whole time. He doesn't jump when I make a noise or anything. Like, he's been really, really good. So we're making progress there. I think it's just because it's so hot that he's too tired to do anything, but happy with that. Anyway, so I tempoed the single. I think partly it was also just because obviously I was aware that he was right in front of the rack. So if I fell forward, it would have been disaster. But I was thinking I'm making excuses, and it was actually just that I'm nervous squatting that heavy at home alone, which we know is a thing for me on my like penultimate weeks of the block when I don't train anywhere else. Like 185, I know I can do it. I was confident I had it, but it was also just the execution side of it. Like I wanted to make sure I didn't lose balance or tip forward, which I've done a few times in the last few months and stuff. So I just tempoed it, which not ideal, but it still moved okay. I just kind of, my line on the way back up then wasn't quite right. But it is what it is. I'm pretty confident with spotters next week. I can add a decent amount to that, obviously. And I probably shouldn't say this out loud. I'm almost admitting that my strength isn't where it should be right now. Like I'm not at my strongest. That block where I squatted 190 for 3, the block before I squatted 185 for 4, like that was me at my strongest and most confident. And I've just had a little bit of a hit since then. I'm okay with that. Like you can't be perfectly strong year round, and that's something I've obviously had to come to terms with. Like I say this to my clients all the time, but in my own training I don't apply it. And I don't need to be my strongest for this comp. Like I don't need to win this comp. I've already qualified for British. I've already secured my place. So this is just for fun, and that's what I have to remember. But yeah, I'm not feeling my strongest. But the 185 was fine. Back offs felt really, really good. I actually tightened my belt one more for back offs because my stomach had been really bloated the last week or two. And I think with the weight drop this morning, that's part of what's kind of happened. And like my stomach's just feeling a lot smaller, along with it being first thing in the morning, obviously, and I'm not eating tons. So there's like no bloat or anything either. So I probably should have had my belt a little bit tighter for my top single too, but it's all good. Anyway, it moved fine. I'm just really overheating, so I'm just gonna take my time, set up for bench, got a heavy bench, and then just got some sumo, which isn't gonna be too heavy. I'm literally just doing sumo for the skill practice element this week, just so I don't kind of lose that. Because after comp, I do really want to try and perfect my sumo, see how it goes, and give it like a proper shot. So still gonna do a little bit of light sumo today, but nothing much. And yeah, that's kind of it. Don't know if Luco can be trusted to be in here while I bench, because last time I benched with him in here, he did keep getting up to lick my head while I was laying on the bench. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so bench is done. Now, I did hit the top end range for everything. However, execution wasn't great. As I started warming up literally just with 70, I realised like when the pressure of the bar was against my hand, I was getting really bad wrist pain, like really bad. So I tried just putting my wrist straps on tight because I normally have them fairly loose. And yeah, I put them on tighter and it didn't really help too much. So I had to kind of adjust my wrist position. I had to have more of like a straight position with my wrist rather than kind of like an internal rotation. Yeah, so I'm not really getting my words out very well because I am exhausted. Literally so hot today. I don't know what temperature it is. I think it's like 30. But it's obviously really muggy in the garage as well. Anyway, not the point. I still managed to hit everything I needed to. I'm not overly happy with the execution like at all. But if I can hit 112, granted the pause wasn't great, which is the thing I'm most worried about in comp day, I think, is just like benching heavy loads with a good pause, because I haven't been getting press commands all of this prep. But if I can bench 112, completely having to change up my grip, which also meant I had to change up my bar path quite a lot as well. Like I was a bit more tucked than normal. And yeah, my bar path was pretty off. Like literally on my third warm up at 100, I did 2 reps. The first rep was like ridiculously slow. And it was just completely off. So I like did it again. Then I took the warm up again a few minutes later just to make sure everything felt all right before jumping to 107. So yeah, wrist pain caused a bit of an issue there, which is really annoying because I didn't even notice it before I like started benching. Like I didn't notice it during squats, didn't know it after squats. Like it was literally just as I was setting up the bench or like going to unrack the bar on bench. Like I didn't even notice it when I was adjusting all the kit in. Not my kind of monster over, but it is empty. Yeah, I didn't even notice it when I was like putting the bench back in or anything. Like it was literally just when I was under the bar. So a little bit annoying, but I made it through, got everything done. Yeah, execution wasn't the best, but it is what it is. Like I know it's not a strength thing, it's literally just because of my wrist. And I'm pretty confident on comp day I'll be all right as long as I don't end up making my wrist worse, which I don't even know what I've done to it. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got to say about bench. I just wanted to kind of explain why things didn't maybe move as they should. I'm now just going to get some sumo done. I'm just going to go super light on sumo and just like have a little bit of play around with it. Obviously don't want to cause any extra fatigue or anything now, leading into comp.